Sorry, weird title. So I met my 25 female boyfriend Tim 26 male 3.5 years ago. We hit it off, he was great and sweet and we get along perfectly. Until I introduced him to my family. My mother had gotten remarried a few months earlier. I like my stepdad and we get along fine. My stepsister Sarah, who is 26 female, and we're friendly but not besties by any means. She is kind of an intense party girl, and being in our 20s we only saw each other at family events. So I introduced Tim to my family, at which point we learned that Sarah used to date Tim when they were 20. It was only a few months, and Tim said they broke up because she made out with another guy at a nightclub while beep. Sarah got upset and started saying I had to break up with him because it was weird. She called Tim her sloppy seconds and tried to get our parents to force us to break up. I said no. It had been years since they'd been together and I didn't even know Sarah when she was dating Tim. I got pretty upset because my family jumped on the bandwagon of saying we should break up. For the past few years at any family gathering, Sarah would mention how they used to date and act like I stole her boyfriend, and has been selling that narrative to my family and friends. It became obvious that she was jealous. But I liked Tim, so we just ignored it and kept dating. So now a few years later, Tim and I live together and we've been talking about marriage and stuff, and I recently had a conversation with my mom about how I thought Tim was going to propose because he's not exactly subtle, and we've talked about this for a while. At which point Sarah, who just moved back in without parents, walked in. She started asking a bunch of invasive questions about our relationship and being weird. Sarah is 4 months pregnant. The father, she said, was some deadbeat guy she'd hooked up with who wants nothing to do with her, but she wants to keep the baby. I'd been making an effort taking her to appointments and offering to help babysit and trying to be excited for her. Until a week ago when my stepdad sent me a long text saying how I can't marry Tim because he is the real father of Sarah's baby. I was immediately very upset and confronted Tim, who was completely shocked and said Sarah was lying. He said there's no way and he didn't cheat on me and he would gladly have a paternity test to prove that. And sure, I asked Sarah for more details about when they slept together, which she says happened a few times. She was shaky and went back and forth on details. The dates and times don't match up with what I can remember of what Tim and I have been doing. She also said she came to our house to see him, but since COVID I've been working from home. So I can't imagine that they managed that. I'm pretty sure now that she's lying to get us to break up because she's still jealous. But now my family are involved and have been sending me hateful messages saying I need to break up with Tim and let him be with Sarah. She's telling everyone he's in love with her and I'm keeping him from her. She has no proof and he strictly denied everything. I texted her asking for proof of any of this happening, and she sent me some fake Photoshop screenshots that I can tell are fake, where she's put Tim's name over a friend's number and pretended he was messaging her. I checked and the friend all but admitted it to me and tried to laugh it off. She badly photoshopped the timestamps. I actually don't know what to do now. I believe Tim and we are still together, but this has kind of thrown a wedge in everything. Sarah has poisoned my relationship with our parents and my family. I feel sick to my stomach, and Sarah is now saying she won't give me a paternity test. For now I've cut everyone off except Tim, but I don't know what to do now. Update. I just found out that my sister is actually my mother. Update. Sorry if this is super long. My sister wasn't around much when I was growing up because she was in college then medical school. She'd visit on holidays and the weekends if she wasn't busy. Whenever she'd visit, she would spend a lot of time with me, and she'd take me places, buy me things, and give me advice when I needed it. I always felt like I could tell her anything and she wouldn't judge me for it. She never really got along with our parents, and I never knew what it was about, but they would argue often and there was always a lot of tension around them. My parents were very loving and we get along, so no issues there. When she started dating her now husband, she spent less time with me and she would come over less often. 5 years ago she got married to the guy. I don't like him at all. He's like an overgrown frat guy and he's always teasing me or saying dumb beep. He can never read the room. I've spoken to my sister about it, but she says that it's just his way of bonding with people and that he means well and is a nice guy. He's been a pain in the beep for 5 years, and just when I was going to give him a chance, he beep it up. My sister and her husband came over for dinner 2 nights ago and were going to sleep over because they live 2 hours away. He took that as an opportunity to drink as much as he wanted. He's already insufferable when sober, so beep him is even worse. My sister and I were catching up because it's been a while and I was telling her how I would like to go into the medical field like her. Beep husband then comes in saying that it's great that I want to follow in my mom's footsteps. My mom has never worked in the medical field, so I was confused and thought he was just being dumb, but my sister's face went so pale and my parents were very quiet. I just looked at my sister and could tell that it wasn't just a dumb comment. I locked myself in my room and didn't come out until the next day. There was a lot of yelling and I just learned something huge, so I didn't want to deal with it. When I finally decided to leave the room, I saw that my sister was sitting right outside the door and that beep was gone. I asked her beep was going on and told her not to lie to me or I'll never speak to her again. She told me that she got pregnant in her senior year of high school and the guy cut all contact with her. She wanted to keep me and our parents were fully supportive of her. She found out that she got into her dream school, but she would have to either give up the school or give me up. She couldn't choose, so she decided to keep both. She spoke to our parents about it, and the plan was to have them take care of me while she's in school, and when can she will take me back. I was supposed to grow up knowing that she is my mom, but because she was so busy and stressed out, she didn't think that she could handle motherhood. Our parents noticed that she was pulling away, so they adopted me and raised me as theirs. She said that she was young and dumb at the time, so she agreed with the adoption. She said that she thought of dropping out and taking me back so many times, but thought I was better off without her as a mom. As the years went by, she saw less reason to tell me since I was doing good and was being well taken care of. She started crying and telling me that she regrets her decision and wants to be my mom. Even though I'm almost an adult, she wants us to start over as mother and son. I told her I'd think about it, and then she left. I went to speak to my parents. They told me that they did everything for me because they love me and I'm not obligated to leave now that I know. They said that things don't have to change if I don't want them to. It seemed more like they didn't want things to change. I feel like my whole life is a lie. I know that I was well taken care of and I don't want to seem ungrateful, but I was lied to my whole life. I don't see myself calling my sister mom and living life as if everything is okay. My parents are the ones who raised me, so how could I just leave them like that? On the other hand, if I don't decide to go with my sister, she might feel like I'm rejecting her or that I hate her, and after 17 years she might really give up on me. I'm so torn and feel betrayed. I can't believe that I found out from that beep. That makes me even more mad. I feel like I have to pick a side. I don't know how to do that. I kinda just wanna run away and forget about all of this. Everyone is kinda leaving it up to me, and I don't even know what I want for breakfast on a good day. How do I approach this without everyone getting hurt? My GF told me she is pregnant, but I am sterile. I am from a SCA country and my first language is not English. Backstory: I got into an accident after my college and will never be able to have kids. None of my family members know of this. They know about the accident but not about this. I have always wanted to be child-free, so it did not affect me much mentally. I have finished my master's degree last year and never dated before. I got a very high-paying job directly through campus placements. My parents immediately wanted me to get married after getting a job, but I wanted to work on myself and explore a bit. They said no, and I said that it was my wish. All my life I did what they wanted, and for the first time when I talked against them, they were not happy. This was last year and they gave up after COVID started. So I picked up some dating apps and went through them, but no luck. Then my parents introduced me to a family friend's daughter and we clicked kinda. Looking back, I was a fool. She said yes to anything I said and never complained about anything. I felt kinda weird about it. I wanted her to express her interests, but she always said she was interested in whatever I do. Well, I did not think much about it. I said that I won't have kids ever, and she surprisingly said okay. I was like, beep, she is probably the one, as it is very hard to find a partner who is child-free in my country, but we were in the initial stages and I have not told about my accident. Long story short, we had beep a month ago. I used condoms because safety first. The next day on, she started ghosting me a bit. I thought it was due to my performance in bed and wanted to give her some space. Then she texted infrequently and only replied okays and Ks and one-line answers. I thought maybe she wanted to end the relation and was sad, but left it at that. Yesterday, all her family came to my house and she claims she's pregnant and the father is me. Needless to say, I freaked the beep out and wanted to collapse on the ground. I did not say anything while they were talking about marriage and stuff that needs to happen because I got her pregnant. Please advise me on what steps to take now. Reddit. Update: let me start off by saying I am very, very grateful for all the Redditors who took their time to read and give me advice. I was overwhelmed by the amount of comments and how many of you said it might not even be my kid. Looking at it from a different perspective gave me much more insight on the whole situation. I called my boss and took today off. I called up some clinics to get tested and was given a slot on Friday afternoon. Then I went to the store and bought some pregnancy tests and asked only her to come to my place tomorrow. I also called my parents and before I said anything, my mom asked me if I had any good news. I was shocked by what she said and asked me what exactly she was talking about. She then played dumb and I knew that the situation was more beep than I thought. I cut the call and cried all night till 3 a.m. grown beep man crying for the first time since 8th class. She came today morning with her parents even after I told her to come alone. They were under the impression that I was going to discuss engagement plans with them. I told them to wait outside and called her in and they threw a fit. I told they can all go back or let her alone come in. They said okay. I took out the pregnancy tests and gave it to her and told her to prove that she was actually pregnant and told her where the bathroom was. She started screaming at me, then she went out the door and called her parents in. Now everyone is screaming at me in my own home because I asked her to prove the pregnancy, not even a DNA test. I told them all to beep and 1 hour later my parents and they all came to my home and they spilled the beans. She was never actually pregnant. My parents were afraid that I was getting old for marriage and wanted me to marry and give them grandchildren. They said that in arranged marriages, no need for the people to actually get to know the spouse because parents choose only the best for their kids. They planned this all and were only waiting for me to have beep with her to do this. I broke down and cried again. All my life I did exactly what my parents wanted, always scored high and never asked for anything. I told them to get out and never talk to me again in between crying, and they said parents know what's best for their kids, and I should do what they say. Then I got extremely angry and told them to beat themselves in my native language, which was very bad. For once I think they knew I was serious with them and they all left. I blocked them all before sending my parents a message to never again contact me in my life, even if one of you is dying. Cried for some more time, went through some dog videos and went through all my messages on Reddit, and I feel like I owe you guys this update because it was you guys who helped me do this. That is all, and I hope you have a wonderful day.